Veronica and Lewis on Triple J.
Triple J.
And we're very excited to have with us in the studio FKA Twigs. Hey, welcome to Australia.
Thank you. How's it going?
Yeah, really well. How are you feeling? Your shows are so physically demanding. Veronica and I saw you the other night. How do you sort of pull up the day after shows?
I think I'm used to it, actually. I've performed a lot in my life. I used to work in circus and cabaret clubs, sort of 5 nights a week, sometimes 3 shows a night. So if anything, it's almost like a bit easier doing this.
Have you always done performing as your work?
No, not always. I was a dancer, like when I was young. I've been dancing since I was 8, but when I was sort of in my late teens, I had like regular jobs working in shops, and I was a youth worker as well for a while. Do you have youth workers?
Yeah. Like social worker?
Yeah. Well, not a social worker. Like, it's kind of like, how do I explain it? Like, you sort of help young people in youth centres. So it's not like a social worker, like I was really qualified, although I did take exams for it. But it's more like you go into a youth centre and you help young people work out what they want to do or how they're feeling through what you do. Oh. So I did it with music and dancing. Right. If that makes sense. But it's just, it's fun. You just do it every week and sort of progress.
Wow. Do you still do anything like that?
I haven't for a little while. It was kind of a weird one. Like in the UK, a lot of the government funding got cut. It's definitely something that I'd like to do, but it's a sort of thing you need to like really commit to and have time, because it's not fair to go in like just one time and then just disappear. Like if you're working with people, then you want to be there every single week for like, for 6 months, because that's actually like how long it can take to make a difference.
And you've been a bit busy.
I've been a bit busy.
That's also true. You're talking about working as a dancer. So you worked with a lot of other big stars like Kylie and Ed Sheeran and Jessie J. And in the chorus for Video Girls, there's a line that goes, "Was she that girl from the video? You lie, you lie, you lie." How do you feel about that whole world of video dancing?
I think it was like a really valuable experience. But I think like that line, it just applies to how I feel. Generally, like when I did a lot of music videos, people were recognising me in the street, especially for the things that I did with Jessie. I would get recognised a lot as being her dancer, and it was quite weird. But when I did that, I could always just deny and say that it wasn't me. But it's weird because I still feel the same now. Like even doing music, like I'm still a bit like when I'm not like on stage or when I'm not on, it's if I could deny it, then I would. But
I don't reckon you're getting away with it. Like, I think if someone was like, "Hey, you're FKA Twigs," you're like, "No, I'm not." You're like, no, you definitely are.
No, it worked in the early days. It doesn't work so much now. But,
is your mum a dancer as well?
My mum was a dancer. Yeah, she was a gymnast when she was young, but when I was a little girl, my mum was a salsa dance teacher. So right. I used to, like, go and salsa with her.
Is she disappointed you don't salsa more on stage?
I think I kind of do a little bit. Sometimes I feel like my moves go a bit salsa-y. But no, my mum's always complimentary of how I move. She's always quite into it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So EP3 is going to come out this year. What can you tell us about it?
I never said that.
Oh. Didn't you?
No.
Oh, I just said a statement that wasn't entirely true.
You just lied.
Oh, so that's not true then?
I mean, it might be true. It might not be true. I don't know. I don't like sort of... I really like set my own time schedule. I might just decide that I want to like go back to college. I've been thinking about going back to college actually.
To study what?
Like either like deeper into like engineering, sort of really getting into sort of setting up studios in terms of like wires and inputs and outputs and all like boring stuff like that. But like deep, like how to set up like a full band or like filmmaking. Or, I just want to learn, like, more, like, technical stuff. More to do with, like, cameras and stuff like that. So I've actually, I've been trying to, like, think of a way this year where I can, like, sort of disappear and go and, like, learn some things. Because it's difficult to learn on the road. Like, it's really fun coming here. It's really fun travelling around. But I really enjoy just gaining new skills.
Because you've been doing a lot of directing your own videos now.
Yeah.
Is that something that you want to go into... like, directing other things, other people's videos or something longer or...
I don't know if I do other people's videos. Like, I'm really interested in... it's the same thing I'm interested in with music, which is just, like, feelings. Like, how do you, like, put across feelings to people and, like, different ways that you can do that. And that's what I like in making music. It's sort of, like, so bad at explaining things sometimes, but like creating an emotion within somebody without saying exactly what it was that you wanted them to feel, or tapping into something that they've never felt before, sort of like if there's like a recessive gene, but like a recessive emotion that they weren't aware of. And then through doing music, I learned you can actually do that with pictures as well, and with moving images. And that's something that I'm just interested in. But like most things, just because you have a passion for it doesn't always mean that your skill level is sort of there. And it's great to kind of learn on the spot. And I've, been in music videos for years and lived with directors as flatmates and stuff. So I've been around it, and I've seen and I've watched and I've picked up all the terminology. But there's always so much more that you can learn. And I think maybe going into like a school learning environment or some sort of course, it'll just make me focus.
Sounds awesome. I can't believe you, well, I can, but that you directed the pendulum video where you're bound and kind of hanging upside down. That must have been crazy multitasking.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. It was difficult because you can only hang for like 7 minutes at a time in certain positions. So it's like you have to get the shot and look at the monitor and possibly reshoot within 7 minutes, else you can lose feeling in your arm for up to 6 months. Because if it like cuts off your blood.
Oh, jeez.
I was curious because it's such a like your shows are so incredibly fully formed and developed. I was wondering, what was your first ever show as FKA Twigs like?
I played at Santos in New York, and I remember I've been working with my manager for like 10 years. He's, a good friend and a good sort of work companion. But I just went to New York and I did these shows and I didn't tell him because I just didn't want any fuss. I think I said I might possibly be doing one show. And he was like, okay, just make sure it's low key. Do you know what I mean? Because we kind of been working on something for sort of 7 years. So he was a bit like, just be careful, like don't go and do anything crazy. And I went and I met this drummer out in New York, and he played drums over like a backing track. And I wasn't really sure how to do it, because the only thing I'd done before was more sort of like, I'd been in punk bands. So the only setup that I really understood was kind of like punk music and how to be like really loud. And I hadn't really sort of developed, I think, how to be subtle yet, which is something that I really like. So those are my first like Twigs shows. And I remember I was on the bill with like, I think Rat King maybe were headlining, and who else? Kilo Cash was on the bill. Danny Brown, I think, was on the bill as well.
What? That's a ridiculous first show.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but I think I was on like first or second. Like no one even knew who I was. I didn't even have any music on the internet. So it was weird. And then I did that show, and then somebody else was like, do another show the next night. And then someone else was like, do another show the next night. So I ended up doing 3 or 4 shows like in a row in New York, and I could see people like coming from one to another. And it's kind of great because even now, sometimes like when I play in New York, someone will be like, I was at your first Santos show, but they didn't even know who I was then. They didn't come to see me. They came to see like Danny Brown or Rat King or, whoever else was there.
FKA Twigs, has been so lovely to chat to you, and so great having you in the country. The shows have been amazing, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.